Hi, I'm Donnie Bryson. Welcome to another edition of our treatment of the International Sunday School lesson. Today's lesson is entitled Simon Peter, the Restored Disciples. And it's taken from Mark 8:27 through 29, Luke 22:31 through 34, John 18:25 through 27, John 21:15 through 17. Today's lesson is for July the 12th, 2026. And we're going to look at the ups and downs in the life of the Apostle Peter. He was an amazing person. He could demonstrate such courage at times and such faithfulness at times. And then he could turn right around and mess up so bad. And we're going to focus on that today. And one of the things that in the story today is that I think maybe every one of us has ever been called into the ministry. The section of scriptures that we're going to be ending on today is one of the things that has weighed heavily on our hearts. Simon Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. And I think every one of us who's been called into the ministry, that the Lord has used that particular section of scripture to really drive home how that we need to be ministering. Mark 8:27 through 29. Jesus and his disciples went on to the villages around Caesarea Philippi. On the way, he asked them, "Who do people say I am?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others one of the prophets. But what about you?" He asked, "Who do you say I am?" And Peter answered, "You are the Messiah." Now, it's important for us to understand that Jesus accepted Peter's confession that he was the Messiah, the anointed of God to bring in God's kingdom. Now, Jesus also instructed them not to spread this news. He did that in Mark 8:30, where it says, Jesus warned them not to tell anyone about him. So there was an oddity about this. Simon Peter made this great confession of Jesus, and yet Jesus told them not to be telling anyone about that until afterwards. And he goes on to speak of his future in terms not of Messiah, but of the sufferings of the Son of Man. And that's in Mark 31 through 33. He then began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, that he must be killed and after 3 days rise again. He spoke plainly about this, and Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But when Jesus turned and looked at his disciples, he rebuked Peter. "Get behind me, Satan," he said. "You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." Now, this is another big instance of Peter's inconsistencies. We see there how that Peter had made this great confession. He had had the courage to speak up. He had had the wisdom to understand who Jesus was. And he had the courage to speak up and to speak for all the other apostles who were around Jesus. And then right after that confession, Jesus severely rebuked Peter for trying to talk him out of going to the cross. So we see here that in this immediate example the inconsistencies of the Apostle Peter. Luke 22:31 through 34. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to shift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. But he replied, Lord, I am ready to go with you to prison and to death. And Jesus answered, I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me. That phrase in there all about Satan had asked to shift all of you is more accurate than the King James Version that just says you, because in the original Greek, "humos" is in the plural. So Jesus was saying to Peter, Peter, Satan had desired to pull all of you away from the truth. That's what Jesus was telling him. It wasn't just Peter, it was all of the Christians. Now, Brother McGee, J. Vernon McGee, says this. The word converted in this passage does not mean conversion as we think of it. The Lord is speaking about the time when Peter will have a change of heart and mind, and his faith will be increased. So, this is talking about that change of mind. John 18:25 through 27. Now, before I read that, let's put this one in context. This is during the Last Supper. They had the Last Supper. Then they went to the garden. After the Last Supper, they went to the garden. Then Jesus went off to pray, and the Peter and the other disciples had fallen asleep. Judas Iscariot had went off and had the meeting with the officials and had come back with the law enforcement of the temple to arrest Jesus. Peter, in his moment of anger and protectiveness of the Lord, drew out his sword and he cut off Malchus's ear, who was a servant of the high priest. And Jesus heals that ear, and then they arrest Jesus and they take Jesus off to the temple to stand before the Sanhedrin and be accused and to be held in court and to be and 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 to be beaten and that kind of thing. And John and Peter had followed Jesus and they had went into the outer part of the temple while Jesus is being held on trial. And that's where we're at in these verses. Now, John 18:25 through 27. Meanwhile, Simon Peter was still standing there warming himself. So they asked him, You aren't one of his disciples too, are you? He denied it, saying, I'm not. One of the high priest's servants, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, challenged him. Didn't I see you with him in the garden? Again, Peter denied it. And at that moment, a rooster began to crow. I think it's real interesting that the Apostle John records the specific type of fire here. And it's a charcoal fire. It's also a charcoal fire that we're going to see in this next section of scripture where Jesus is talking with Peter about feeding the sheep. That anthrokia in the original Greek, and it's in both places, once at the fire that he denies the Lord, and they're around an anthrakia, also by the water when Jesus has Peter talk about feeding the sheep. John 21:15 through 17. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. Again, Jesus said, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He answered, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And Jesus said, take care of my sheep. The third time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. And Jesus said, feed my sheep. The question that we can be brought up in our mind is what that Greek word in the original Greek teuton talks about these. What is it actually talking about? That Greek word teuton can be any particular gender. So there's not real clear what Jesus meant by these. Do you love me more than these? Do you love me more than teuton? And it's not real clear exactly what Jesus was talking about. Is he saying, do you love me more than fishing? Because they were there by the ocean and or by the sea, and they were all fishing for fish, and that had been Peter's previous occupation, was to be a fisherman. And was Jesus asking Peter, does he love Jesus more than his profession? Is he willing to walk away from that profession that he loves to go serve the Lord? And that may very well be what Jesus was talking about and was asking Peter. It also could very well mean, do you love me more than everybody, these other people? Because Peter had implied that before at the Last Supper, where he pretty much well told the Lord that he would love him more than anybody else. And no matter if everybody else turns their back on you, Lord, I'll be there. Was Jesus saying this and using these to point to the other disciples to get Peter to realize that he's not any better than the other servants? And I'm telling you, one of the things that we need to be real careful of in our Christian walk is to not get too full of ourselves and to act like we're so much better than everybody else, because you will almost always fail, just like Peter did when he was talking about how he was so much better than all the other disciples, and then he messed up so bad. He was standing there with John. John didn't deny the Lord. John did not deny the Lord, but Peter did. And sometimes I can almost guarantee you, every time you start getting full of yourself, you're going to fall flat on your face. Also, too, why three times? Now, Dr. Godot suggests that the reason lies in the fact that Simon Peter denied Christ three times. And then Christ makes him affirm his devotion three times to reinforce everything. Couple of concluding thoughts. First off, do not brag about your spiritual strength or worth. You'll end up just like Peter, falling flat on your face. Second, Jesus can take you back and restore us no matter how deep we fall. Don't ever feel like you're so far out that God can't take you back. Third, we're restored to work for God. When Jesus takes us back, He's taking us back for us to go on a mission and to work for Him. Well, friends, good Lord willing, I'll be back with you next weekend.